Greetings, friends. Welcome to your own channel, Boss G Story. Without further delay, let's dive into today's inspiring tale. A young man's struggle. A long time ago, in a small village of the Magadha kingdom, there lived a young man named Aman. He was impatient and short-tempered. He had a habit of arguing over small matters and responding impulsively to every situation. Over time, people started avoiding him because of his behavior. Aman himself realized that instead of bringing peace and happiness, his nature was increasing tension and loneliness in his life. However, he didn't know how to change himself. One day, he heard that Lord Buddha was giving a sermon in a nearby forest. Aman had heard a lot about Buddha, his wisdom, compassion, and teachings about life. He thought, maybe I will find the answers to my questions there. Without wasting time, he went to the place where Buddha was speaking. A large crowd had gathered. Buddha was explaining the depths of life in simple and clear words. At one point, he addressed the gathering. If you truly want to transform your life, learn to remain silent in 10 situations. Hearing this, Aman saw a ray of hope. After the sermon, he approached Buddha, bowed at his feet, and asked, Lord, you mentioned that we should remain silent in 10 situations. Please explain what these 10 situations are and how I can apply them in my life. Buddha smiled and replied, to understand this, you need patience, discipline, and self-reflection. If you are ready to adopt these teachings, come with me. Aman agreed, and thus his journey of transformation began. The 10 situations where silence is the key. 1. When someone criticizes you, Buddha taught Aman, when someone criticizes you, remain silent. Criticism is an opportunity to learn. If you react with anger, you learn nothing. But if you remain silent and reflect, you will understand whether the criticism is valid or not. He shared an example. Once a man insulted me. I silently listened. When he got tired, I asked him, if you offer a gift and the recipient refuses to take it, who does it belong to? The man replied, it remains with me. I said, similarly, your words remain with you because I do not accept them. Aman decided to apply this in his life. Initially, it was difficult, but over time, he realized that silence during criticism helped him introspect. 2. When someone argues with you. A few days later, Buddha explained the importance of remaining silent during arguments. In an argument, it is not truth but ego that wins. If you stay silent, you can better understand the situation and make the right decision. Buddha narrated a story. 2 farmers were fighting over a small piece of land, each claiming ownership. I asked them, did you bring this land with you when you were born? Will you take it with you when you die? They fell silent. Aman learned that rather than engaging in arguments, it was better to stay silent and seek solutions. 3. When someone is angry, Buddha told Aman, anger is like fire. If you pour fuel into it, it will only grow. So when someone is angry, remain silent. Their anger will eventually fade. He shared a story. A king sentenced his minister to death in anger. The minister said nothing. The next day, the king regretted his decision and pardoned him. Had the minister argued, he might have lost his life. Aman realized that silence could prevent unnecessary conflicts. 4. When you are in pain. One day, Aman was deeply distressed and told Buddha, Lord, I cannot bear this sorrow. Buddha replied, when you are in pain, stay silent. Pain can open the door to transformation. In silence, you may find the answers you seek. Pain strengthens you if you try to understand it. 5. When someone provokes you. Buddha said, when someone deliberately provokes you, silence is the greatest response. It demonstrates your strength and patience. He narrated a story. A monk was constantly harassed by villagers, but he remained silent. Over time, they stopped bothering him because his silence transformed them. 6. When your help is not needed. You don't always have to offer help. If no one asks for your opinion, it's better to stay silent. This teaching proved very useful to Aman. 7. When you feel proud of your knowledge. Knowledge is adorned with humility. If you flaunt your wisdom, it becomes hollow. 8. When someone is not ready to hear the truth. Buddha said, truth has value only when the listener is ready to accept it. Otherwise, your words will be wasted. He shared a story. A sage told a king that his decisions were wrong. The king got angry and threw him out. As he left, the sage said, the time for truth has not yet come. When you are ready, I will return. Years later, the king learned from his mistakes and invited the sage back. Aman understood that forcing truth upon someone who isn't ready is futile. 9. When the situation is beyond your control. Sometimes, no matter what you do, certain situations cannot be changed. Instead of getting frustrated, accept them and remain silent. Silence is a sign of patience and balance. Buddha shared an example. A farmer complained about drought. Buddha said, "You cannot change the rain, but you can find alternate solutions. Stay silent, think, and solutions will come." Aman realized that silence during uncontrollable situations led to inner peace and practical solutions. 10. When your heart is overflowing with gratitude, when your heart is filled with love, gratitude, and peace, words are unnecessary. Silence becomes the highest expression of joy. Buddha shared a story. A disciple felt immense gratitude toward his master, but found words inadequate. The master smiled and said, "Your silence is the greatest expression of thanks." Aman's transformation through tests. Buddha didn't just teach Aman, he tested him. He sent Aman to a village where people insulted him. Aman remembered the first lesson, stay silent when criticized. Eventually, people saw his change and respected him. In another test, Aman engaged with an argumentative merchant. When the merchant started a debate, Aman remained silent. This made the merchant realize the futility of arguments. Next, he encountered an angry man. Instead of responding, Aman remained silent. Over time, the man calmed down and even apologized. Aman was also sent to comfort a grieving widow. Without speaking, he sat beside her. His silent presence comforted her more than words ever could. Through these trials, Aman realized that silence wasn't just about keeping quiet. It was a powerful tool for understanding, patience, and inner peace. The ultimate realization. After passing all tests, Aman's heart was filled with peace and gratitude. He bowed before Buddha and said, "Lord, I have changed. Now I understand the true wisdom lies in silence." Buddha smiled and said, "When the heart is full, words are not needed. Silence is the language of the soul." This story teaches us that silence is not just the absence of words, but a deep source of wisdom and strength. When we listen and understand rather than react, life transforms. Silence is not a weakness, but the greatest power of all. Silence is not a weakness, but the greatest power of all.